Are you kidding me? That's what?
Yeah, every so often it happens that Ryan is right.
100% right. Not even a little bit right.
Tucker Pullman, 2 points last game.
No kidding. My man.
Hey, neither does me running shirtless, but that turned out very well. Welcome to the PP1 podcast. It felt like the intro dragged out a lot longer than normal. Do you feel that?
I like how we snuck Chris into the end of that thing. It's just he's like always around. I love it.
It's like, why is he there? It felt like a good photo to add at the end. And it's me pointing, and I'm having a great time. I'm having
it's
a great
sleepy
time.
famous.
Yeah. He just finds ways to be involved everywhere. He's a man of all things, I suppose. Welcome to our show, everyone. Welcome to the PP1 podcast. As the intro says, it's like a double up, I suppose. I'm also wearing a shirt that says that. If you get confused later on, we are on the Dean Blundell Network. We are partnered with our good friends at Move Health and Wellness. It's been a day for me. I am absolutely your host. Hope you like blow up or what's going on there?
You started sounding like a robot. I don't know. Maybe it was just the feed.
Sorry. Maybe it was the feed. I apologize. We'll check it on the feedback. I'll do in editing. We'll get this in the editing room.
There you go.
Which is like right over there on the couch. Yeah, it's been a day. I mean, wasn't as bad as what the Canucks had last night. They're playing hockey, so that's a lot of fun. I'm very excited that we get to talk actual Canucks hockey that means things. They're 0-1. I mean, that's okay because the right people scored in game one. We'll get into that. We're going to get into a couple little things. A little shorter show. We'll try to make this effective for you all. I've got one cool thing that I do want to get into that Ted may or may not know about. But you know what? Let's get into it. But before we do Canucks, I had this story I was teasing from last Friday.
Oh yeah.
Today, this is what people are here for. So first and foremost, obviously, make sure you go check us out on Facebook, on YouTube. If you want to comment along, we're here. We'll try to get to some comments. If there are comments, we'll be more than happy to chat with you. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. You know all the deets. Anyway, let's get to my story. So I'm at the Rockets game last Friday. I'm sitting there in our seats behind the net. As you guys know, and I've probably bragged a few times, humbly, of course, I've won a few things at the Rock game. People know this about me. I win things.
It's ridiculous. Like I think it's like an understatement to say how much you win at the Rockets. Not even just the Rockets game. Like you go to these games, you enter just random contests. You tag shit online, and like just the win record for you is like off the charts. It's like it's annoying.
It's crazy, and I'll continue that story in a second. But so I'm at the hockey game, and they do the ballots at the beginning of the game, so you can go on the ice to win something. And I have a pretty good record of just getting on the ice, and even second prize is like $25 to like Timmy's or like in this case was I think Tommy Guns or something. So I needed a haircut, so I was like, oh, this is perfect timing. So anyway, entered all the stuff, sitting in my seats as I am, and basically, I'm gonna just fix this. Ted had to log off for a second. So I'm sitting there, and we're getting close to the first TV timeout, so like 13 minutes into the game, and sure enough, Ryan 2T's Waters, Kelowna famous, 2T's comes in, and he's coming up in our zone, and he's like, "Who wants?" Right before he goes, "Who wants to win a gas card?" And everyone's looking around, and it's typical, like everybody's shy. It's Friday night. We have a few older people in our section, but everyone's kind of shy. And who wants to win? And the lady that sits beside us, she's like, you should do it. I'm like, all right. I'm like, yeah. So I put up my arm. I'm like, who doesn't want to win a gas? And I mean, you're going to win. You can't lose the contest when they're walking up like intermission or TV timeout. Like they're made to win. Everybody gets excited. It's a quick promotion. So I put up my hand. Ryan 2T's looks at me, goes, no. What? I'm like, come on. He goes, no. And he keeps walking. he keeps walking up the aisle and finds somebody. And I looked. I'm like, what just happened here? I said, I feel like I've been profiled or something for winning. And he just looks at the lady beside. She's like, wow, I can't believe you said that. I said, well, to be fair,
So to be fair,
I do win a lot. And I said, he sees me on the ice probably every second game, if not almost every game I'm at. So he basically felt I was probably going to win somewhere else, and I should allow someone else to win this very easy prize and continue to walk up. And I actually did a little slow clap because even my dad looked at me. He goes, "Yeah, that seems about right." So anyway, apparently you can't win everything. So I met my match, and I was actually impressed. So I didn't end up going on the ice, didn't win a thing. The Rockets ended up losing that game to a very good Seattle team. Seattle's going to be dangerous this year, but they also didn't have Colby Dock in the lineup yet, and he's their new captain. I think the Rockets are still going to have. I'm not going to play that clip. It's a lot of extra work, Ted. But it's true. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. So might be going tomorrow night. They're doing the Pink the Rink jerseys and all that kind of stuff. So might even maybe we should throw some PP1 money and win ourselves a Rockets jersey or something. Oh, not a bad idea. We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't look good, but they always do a really good jersey. Anyway, that's my story. And speaking of winning, if you guys haven't followed already, my dog and I have an Instagram account, Rocket and Shank. Go check it out. Anyway, I did a reel. Ted, have you heard about reels? Do you know about
real
these?
what? Real what?
Like a reel, like a movie reel?
I got you.
You know what I mean? I know you do. You're just playing with me.
Yeah, you and Rocket making mukbang videos.
Yeah, we just do whatever. So I put a video of him and he was basically running around our yard with a soccer ball in his mouth. And I posted it. It's a quick, I don't know, 20-second video tops. And I had like, I don't know, like Homegrown by Zach Brown Band playing in the background, like as the movie or the clip. And so I put it up. Whatever, no big deal. Just something funny that I've done in the last week or so. And so I look, end of the day, it was like last night. I'm just doing some editing for something or our other show. And I look and I had 2,000 plays already. And I had just had it like that morning. Like, holy smokes. And I thought to myself before I went to bed, like 11:30, I'm like, wouldn't that be wild if there's like 14,000 tomorrow? Just a stupid thought. So I wake up this morning, 11,000 plays. My dog went viral, and no one listens to our podcast.
People like dogs, man.
People like dogs. It's so stupid. So anyway, I thought that was a lot of fun. Who knew? So yeah, apparently my dog is Instagram famous. So go check it out. Let's talk about hockey, Ted. Let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks. Let's talk about the fact that they're back. And they started well. I know you saw it. A few people believe that I didn't watch the whole game. I watched the whole game, Quinton from Kelowna. I did. I'm just creating content. Of course I watched the whole game. It's the Canucks. They're my life. They started out great. I watched the first period on my phone at Capitol News Center waiting for my other daughter to be done skating. So because there's eTalk Daily on the big screen in the middle there, which is stupid. Normally there's a baseball or hockey game on. So we're watching on my little phone instead of the 70-inch screen that's clearly there. No one had a remote control. So I see Pettersson score. Perfect. 1-0 against the Oilers. This is great. Miller comes up, like 40 seconds later. Snipe show Selly.
Oh, it's just that snap. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Like absolute laser beam top shelf. That's Kinsey's favorite player. So she's excited. JT Miller scored. Things are looking good. Didn't like the call on Quinn Hughes, and we can go into that all.
The non-call.
The non-call. Sorry, I apologize. And then they go up 3-0. They get the third goal, right? Kuzi gets in there, and things couldn't be better. And because they didn't happen in succession, like 1, 2, 3 right away, I pushed the 3-0 leads are the worst league in hockey to the side.
Oh, I didn't know that you posted that. So it's your fault.
No. I said I pushed it to the side.
Oh, okay. I thought you. So somebody else did.
No. Someone had to have. And because like usually it's 3 goals in a row, like in quick succession, right? That's usually how it works. And this one, I'm like, well, they took to another period to score the third. No, Canucks fans, that is not what happened. Ted, what did you think?
Like about what? Like, you just took all the good stuff to talk about?
I know. Let's talk about the bad stuff now. So they didn't score after that. I think.
Yeah,
I mean, they've been a good guy for it anyway.
Yeah, it got ugly after that, right? I mean, I think, I think on the whole, like Vancouver was still in this game. Like they played well. I think obviously got burnt by like kind of a shit call, but ultimate lead on the story is that a few of the best players in the world play on this squad. They're going to get their chances. They move the puck really well. Vancouver goes and takes some penalties. That power play gets clicking. You got, the one goal that they had where it was like from the point down low to the bumper, Draisaitl quickly over to McDavid. I think that whole play took about a second and a half to.
And you're not stopping those guys.
No, I think that whole play took about a second and a half to complete before it ended up on McDavid's stick, and he's just not going to miss from that spot, right? So,
no.
There was the Nurse goal, which I was like, I don't know. I feel like it's weird talking about how well I think the Canucks were playing defensively as a team.
Right.
Like it just seemed like it was a little more cohesive. I
was.
only gave up 25 shots on net or something like that, but like
they played better than the score showed, basically.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I think definitely unlucky on a couple of goals. Those things are going to happen. Missed goals are going to happen. Like I like a little suspect on Horvat coming back to handle Nurse on that play. I feel like you shouldn't, like, just to see Nurse get that far ahead, that open was like a little bit disappointing. But on the whole, Vancouver's out a couple of not a couple of defenders, but they're out a defender in Tyler Myers, and they're out probably they're one of their best defensive forwards as well, right? The big offseason signing, Russian speed skating specialist in Mikheyev, that was going to look good, and we're missing those guys right off the bat. Brock seems like he's back early. He's one of our better defensive players. I feel like that's weird even saying that too, right? But
yeah,
I didn't feel like at any point that this game was just getting way away from us until probably late in the third, where it felt like Edmonton had all the momentum. But this team seemed like defensively as a team, even though some of its parts didn't feel like it, just played better. It was kind of a strange result. And it felt like that's a game that we shouldn't have lost, or Vancouver shouldn't have lost. But
no, and you're right. I'll get into special teams in a second, but keep going. Sorry.
What special teams? That's the thing, right? I think we should have
right?
we should have been in, I think 7 power plays, scored on 1. There has to be a little bit more. I think that's going to come. I think there was bits and pieces where they were moving the puck around. The PK still looks awful. That's got to get fixed. And Mikheyev is going to help, and Myers is probably going to help a little bit, just by being a big body.
You also brought up who they're playing against. If we were going to compare that, and there's going to be a handful of teams where they're going to be really tough to play.
Sure, yeah.
Calgary is probably going to be a tougher one to play again this year. But let's just say 75% of the league, if they had those same penalties to kill off, do they get beat the way they got beat?
I don't
we're going
think
to
so.
overreact on one game. Let's just say we're going to base everything on one game.
And I'm not overreacting on this game. I don't think so, though, right? I think you take the win out of the fact that this is moral victory Canuck Thursday, right?
Moral victory. Yeah.
You take the win out of the fact that you held an Oilers team with that potent of an offense to 25 shots. We'll call it 24 because one of them was an empty netter. Sure. And then you also have to think that that you're not going to leave a game in which you allow 24 shots on Thatcher Demko and he's only going to make 20 saves. I think that's also a little bit of an outlier. So there's a chance for us to tip the scales a little bit as we move into these next few games. What do we got? Philadelphia next. So that should be interesting. That's always been kind of a weird game. But Vancouver plays Philly funny, right? Sometimes they just get absolutely mopped. Sometimes they just get by.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be a strange game, but there is some really good takeaways from this game. And especially, I think the new guys, man, the new guys jumping into this squad.
Kuzmenko looks like he fits. He looks like it's almost like this fun version of something, like it's new, but he does feel like he's been there long enough. Or it's the conversation, like your boy kind of, right? He just has that feeling, man, like I can't wait to keep cheering for this guy. Like he's kind of like how I felt about Brock in his rookie year, but in a different way, kind of. Like Brock just had, we knew so much more about him going in. We're like, man, I can't wait till this guy gets to the team. Whereas Kuzmenko, I haven't seen a ton of what he did before the NHL. Mm-hmm. And I think what we have seen so far, we're like, oh, I like the way he fits with these guys. I like the way that he doesn't look lost with Pettersson, or he doesn't look lost with the defense as it's coming. Like he looks like he's going to be a play driver this season. And again, we're basing so much of this on one game, and they did lose. But at the same time, there was enough. Like if you were going to go look at last season, and you look at this one game this season and think, okay, well, sure, we lost, but I mean, we didn't lose. Like it wasn't like, wow, that was brutal. Like Connor McDavid scored a hat trick. He was an absolute smoke show out there, and you can't get mad at arguably the best player on the planet right now. He's going to have nights, and he, as good as Thatcher Demko was, and we'll get into that in a quick sec. I mean, Connor McDavid was that much better than everybody, and he proved it. And he proved it in the preseason on that one play on Hughes. Like, you can have your best player, and that best player maybe is a potential Norris candidate or a Vezina winner or a Selke winner. It's still Connor McDavid. And if you happen to beat Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl's right behind him.
Yeah, I mean, it's gross. I mean, there's just not a whole lot you can do, right? I mean, you just have to sort of, it's like, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him, right? Like that's kind of where you're at with McDavid. And like you said, once you get past McDavid, then you have Draisaitl and so on and so forth. And Edmonton's done a good job of adding complementary pieces to help him out too. I mean, I still think on the whole that roster is built a little bit funny, but it's a better version, like way better version of what Vancouver has for sure, right? But I mean, getting back to the Kuzmenko thing, I mean, yeah, you're right. Like that's a nice complementary player. And I think we got to see firsthand, like real NHL competition. Didn't seem to wilt under the pressure. Like I looked dangerous all night long. Like, every time the puck was on his stick, you felt like you were in good hands, and you felt like he was constantly creeping into the net to try to pot goals. And obviously he knows where he's supposed to be, right place, right time. The back checking seemed strong. Never had to worry about him. Another guy's game that I was really impressed with was Vasily Podkolzin, really going hard in the net, back checking like an absolute beast. There was all sorts of good things in this game. Curtis Lazar seemed like he fit really good in his spot. Even Connor Garland was doing Connor Garland things, forechecking down low. That guy's.
Do you like his little thing where when he did his quick little spin, I'm like, and that's why I don't want him.
Yeah. It's the only guy that I wasn't like super impressed with, and he even had a couple chances was Nils Höglander. So there's going to be he had some chances. I think there was a play on like a 2-on-1, I think, where Pettersson fed off to Höglander on a 1T that he kind of just missed on, which looked a lot like
there was a few of those in that game.
Yeah, it looked a lot like McDavid from the same spot, but he buries on that same opportunity, right? So it's I mean, there's still a little bit of a work in progress. Get to see Nils Zaman do his thing, and I like it. Yeah, I like what I see. I like where he fits in that lineup. We talked in the start of the season about how I thought that maybe he was, an upgrade over a guy like Dickinson, honestly. And I think that the trade to move Dickinson out and bring Aman in was, I mean, I didn't see him playing in a game. So, that's
first night. That's a big deal, right?
But the one guy that I felt, I mean, obviously Miller was good, but the one guy that I felt like really just made like a call to arms to say like, look, I'm here, was Elias Pettersson.
I was going to say it better be. He was, I think we're really going to enjoy the season that he's going to have this year. You've seen that meme, or I don't know if it's a meme, or maybe just a photo of like the progression from like Henrik and Daniel, and then it's Pettersson, and I think it's like Jesse from Breaking Bad or something like that. But like, it's like he took, and it's not just a contract thing. I mean, obviously, everybody that signs a big deal.
He's moving to the prime of his career, right? I mean,
he is going. I think he's realized like, hey, I do need to be this guy. And maybe he is a future captain on the team. Like, we don't know what the whole Bo Horvat situation is going to be. And I mean, he's going to sign his deal, whether it is with Vancouver or not. Maybe Elias Pettersson is that guy. And it wouldn't surprise me if he was the next captain. I don't want to get into that. We're not going to be doing fodder for that today.
It's not fodder, but it's fine to talk about.
I do think if push came to shove and if someone needed to fill that role, I mean, this would be a season where Pettersson could definitely make a name for himself. And, we've had this conversation before, not on the show, but as our Jersey City days when Henrik took over and everyone kind of thought maybe a Ryan Kessler or, back in the day when that was maybe a legitimate chance after Luongo wasn't the captain anymore.
I love that comparison. And I feel like, I mean, for some reason, I don't know what it is. It's this game. It's the the playing through the preseason, he looks just more grizzled this year, right? He looks more physically imposing. He looks a little bit bigger. He looks a little bit more like, I don't give a shit. And that's kind of what we like about Pettersson.
It's like sports hot, like sports sexy.
Yeah, just like
you're like, oh man, like look at his shoulders, and like you start like getting a little like sports horny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Anytime you can get anytime you can get a hockey boner off a good play, I mean, we're all kind of hoping for that stuff, right? So, but I mean, the Horvat thing's funny, right? I mean, it must be tough to know that you're one of the faces of the franchise, and you're the one that has to call to answer questions, and you're the one that has to speak up and talk to the media and do the things in the city, and you don't know what your future's like, and I don't know anything about any of this stuff, but like even the level of talk, and the lack of positivity. Usually you hear like, we're going to get this done, that kind of stuff. And
like, we have a number.
It seems weird with this, and I don't know what it is and why. And it's just, I'm not even speculating, but it just feels sour. It feels sour a little bit, right? Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I don't have like a super great feeling about it. So it's super strange. I mean, the move in the offseason, signing Miller for the number that he got, in the move the season before that, not signing Pettersson to the big deal, right? I mean,
it's funny how you talk about it, right? You talk about, you're right, the signing of one guy, the not.
And I know they're different regimes, right?
But it's there's still the same base there. There's still, I think you would still go in and think, okay, well, why did they not do this, and why are we in this spot? I am always of the mind, and I've said this forever, and I will continue to say it until the day it finally happens. Forever. I don't care who is on the Vancouver Canucks if and when they win a Stanley Cup. I do not care who the captain is. I don't care who the goalie is. I don't care who the head coach is. I don't care who is on this team if and when they win. They didn't win with Burr. I've probably said this like, a year ago. They didn't win with Burre. They didn't with Naslin, Bertuzzi, West Coast Express. Didn't win with Luongo and the Sedins. There's been a lot of options for this team to have won, and they haven't won with all the players that I've grown up loving, the ones that I have their jerseys in my closet, that, that we've got their posters on our walls growing up, and so on and so forth. Those teams didn't win. So,
with better rosters than this.
Way better. So guess what? When they win, I could care less. If it's Neil Zaman that ends up having the career of his life and ends up being our captain and they win, great. God bless you. I will celebrate you. But it doesn't matter to me. I just want the team, with whatever the heck the logo is at that point, to have won a Stanley Cup. Anyone could be on that roster. It could be the guy you hated forever that champions this team. I don't care. So in this case, maybe it is Bo Horvat that they have to move out. Maybe they have to go a la Calgary Flames and move out the most popular guy, the guy that should be signed. They got rid of everybody. They got rid of their best talent, and look what got brought back in because they were smart about it. Like, seeing Sean Monahan score in Montreal is a weird thing, man. That was wild. Yeah. I'm just sitting there. We're at the rink last night eating dinner, and I'm like, Sean Monahan's. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that happened. That's a thing.
Mind-blowing stuff. So guess what? The Canucks can do it too. These guys aren't lifers. Every player that signs with this team that gets drafted to the Vancouver Canucks doesn't have to play their entire career there. I'm sorry. There may be a day where Pettersson leaves. There may be a day where Hughes leaves. Who knows? It's impossible to know. But we don't have to get attached to the point where there's no way this guy's ever going to move. Kevin Bxa left. Ryan Kessler left. Roberto Luongo left. I mean, Matt Sundin came here and everyone thought he would never go anywhere else. Weird things happen in the NHL. Be okay with it. Be okay with it. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking of Kevin Bxa.
Oh yeah, I saw this just as I got home.
Yeah, he's going to sign a 1-year deal with or 1-game deal or 1-day deal with the Vancouver Canucks to retire as a Vancouver Canucks. So super cool.
Awesome. I'd like to sign a 1-day deal. Like one day I'll sign a deal.
Yeah, I'm still training. I'm still out there, guys. Yeah. Still available.
he's signing a 1 day, and I get to go in the Ring of Honor because I've done a bunch of other cool things, and I would just like to sign a 1 day. Same words. You say them differently. They mean very different things. No, that's awesome.
1 day.
That's so awesome. BX is an absolute legend. You and I mean, anybody that he's like our little treasure that we get to cherish as Canucks fans, and he's on the national level. He's the next guy to lead the hockey media, the talk show version of everything. And he has been for a few years. And it's just, he's still our guy. He still holds, you talk about flags fly forever. he still holds that flag for the Canucks. He's wearing the socks. He's doing the things. He's busting balls against Elliott and Ron. And
yeah, we don't win cups, but we do win hearts.
You know what? And that's something. It's something. So way to go, Kevin BX. You've absolutely earned it from one punching from
everybody.
Everybody. From throwing out a Superman left-handed punch to, I mean,
I think I only recall Kevin Bxa losing one fight, and I'm pretty sure it was like Zen and Kanopka.
Oh,
just tagged him, made him go wobbly. I just think he caught him, right? But
yeah, Zen and Kanopka
he was a tough customer.
I called him Zanopka one time. I think I just combined both names. Yeah, he was a piece of work. So just absolutely awesome. Like, what was your favorite Bxa moment? And you can't say the stanchion goal.
I mean, I think that the favorite Bxa moment is the story, right? The lore, right? Of Fedorov or this 5th round draft pick in the fight outside the bar, and Berkey does such a great job of telling that story, right? And I feel like maybe even better than Bxa does.
Yeah.
But that moment, I think, was like, it was just cool, right? Then post that, you see him show up in Manitoba and just start taking numbers in Manitoba, and then makes his way to the NHL and like never looks back, right? And we can't name the goal, right? The stanchion goal is like a favorite Bxa moment, if that's fine. But I mean, I think it's even before his time as a Canuck in that story about how he got called to go outside against a much bigger Fedorov and just like fed him his lunch, throwing complete caution to the wind, not even making good career choices at this point. And then the right guy happened to be the GM of the Vancouver Canucks at that time, and just like the moxie, right? Thank goodness there was a GM that was all about, what was this word, truculence?
Yeah.
Right. Or else any other GM, he probably went out the door. Like, honestly, right? So
then he would have been right. Yeah, I'm off the team. Yeah.
It's a great story. Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably my favorite. Maybe not, I can't say moment because I wasn't there, but I think that's the best. That was one of the best things about just it's Kevin Bxa personified, right? How about you?
Yeah, the on the ice stuff is definitely tough because I think everybody does gravitate to that one goal. Him and Dan Murphy was a good back and forth just from all the little, like, because it was all the time, right? It was all the time. So I would say like that. And I mean, obviously the laugh from AV, the Bxa face from Vern Fiddler.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. Yeah. I forgot about that, but that was more Vern Fiddler than Kevin Bxa.
It was, but I think it needed a basis. So I think that was pretty funny too. So just, I mean, awesome guy. And like I said, I think the best is still yet to come for him. I mean, he's the kind of guy that could probably make the Hall of Fame as a broadcaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, just the stuff. I think it was like the Superman punches, right? I think the first time we saw the Superman punch was it like, I feel like it was Calgary, but nobody was expecting it. Like, wait, had we ever seen a Superman punch in the NFL and NHL before that?
Let alone a lefty one too,
right? I mean, we were all watching. It was such a great time, right? UFC had like all these huge stars like GSP and Couture, and there was just like, all these great guys, and they were, GSP was doing his thing with Superman punches, and then to see Bxa drop one was just like, wow, I don't think anybody was expecting that, right?
100%. And I still do that. I got the UFC. I think I have the UFC 2010 game. It was the game when GM Place got added, or Rogers Arena at the time. I'm like, I'm in Vancouver too, and I'm really good at knocking guys out, but as soon as it gets to the ground, I'd lose like every fight.
I remember Mike Richards. He Superman punched Mike Richards, caught him real good. back when he was in Philly. That was another
Oh,
one. But
man.
yeah, man, he was that guy. Like, he was not your enforcer defenseman. He really could do it
No.
all, right? I mean, he could play on your power play, maybe second unit. He could log top 4 minutes. He was good defensively, but also had some offensive pop, and like would come to the rescue and be the team cop if you needed him. Nobody in the league wanted to fuck with him because he didn't ever lose fights, it seemed, right? So he was just like a good old boy that could play a new age game at the time, right? So,
and the only time he got exposed really was when all the injuries came and he had to move up the lineup, right? That was probably the only stretch where we were like, man, like BX is getting beat so much. It's because everyone had gotten injured at that point, and his fit was that basically second pairing. That's where he
couldn't. Yeah, playing as the number one guy, he couldn't play the same type of game that he played as having to log like the 25 minutes a game as he could, 20 or 21 minutes a game, right? Because it was forced to be more responsible. But I mean, he was pretty cutting edge, this guy too, right? I mean, you talk about those nasty injuries, right? Do you remember the skate blade cut across the back of his leg?
Tough to
he was
forget.
like bled out on the edge. It was really terrible, right? I mean,
but he brought out. Sorry, you say it. Go for it.
I mean, the Kevlar socks, right? I mean, that was Kevin Bxa.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of guys around the league that still use stuff like that for that reason. And I can't remember if that was when the new socks came into the league. I can't remember if it was before or after, but everything is now geared a little bit more to protection for skate blade cuts. Like that's Kevin Bxa. I think that the league has a lot to be thankful for, and somehow, against all odds, he might be a better broadcaster than he was a hockey player.
He's got a mouth, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But he's smart. Like, the dude comes from a pretty smart college too, right? So
yeah.
Remember, and was it from Vernon or Penticton, that guy that came out with the blocking cuffs? That was for him, wasn't it?
The
blocking
goes
over his skates. They were like the little.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that was him or not, but I do remember them for sure. I remember him using them. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, just awesome dude. What's not to like? What's not to like? It's Kevin Bxa, folks. If you don't like Kevin Bxa, then get off. Then leave. We don't want you here. Get out of here. We don't want.
Yeah, Canucks could use a Kevin Bxa right hand shot in their prime on that decoy right now. Who seemed okay surprisingly last night. Somehow.
Yeah. I think thankfully we're not looking at a team that's sinking. We're looking at a team that, hey, we can build from this. It's a nice change.
I think they've done a decent job. I think they've done a decent job complementing players that were maybe perceived to be somewhat of a weakness on this squad, right? I mean, you have Tucker Pullman playing, but he's playing with OEL. So this makes him a little bit better, right? I mean, you have somehow the Luke Shen and Quinn Hughes thing is still a thing. I don't know how that happened. I mean, it was a thing when he first got here, and then he left, and then he came back, and it's still a thing. So Luke Shen, I don't know how the hell you did it, but you did it.
You don't forget how to be brothers, Ted.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
once you bounce your nutsack off somebody's drum set, that you're just always brothers. That's the
so
way
I wasn't
works,
gonna
right?
go. I wasn't gonna go
Prestige Worldwide.
Prestige Worldwide. Maybe you. I mean, you and me. I move away, start a life, come back, don't skip a beat. It's like I never left. So it's the same thing. I haven't
to find somebody to keep talking hockey with. Right?
I haven't put my junk on any musical instruments at your home, just so you know.
True. That's true.
Nor your keyboard, nor anything in your house, because that's real life, and that's disgusting. Oh no, I take that back. That desk or whatever that was, I have done that.
That was the piano. Yeah.
Tickling the ivories, and they tickle. You know what? It's after the first game of the season. We're in season 4, man. It blows my mind.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is it like it just? I was doing some stuff the other day and trying to think like, how long will you do this? I'm like, we're in season 4. How many podcasts get that far? Some podcasts don't even get that far, let alone they get a live stream. So really, maybe we are the best.
Yeah, good interneting.
Yeah, I think we've figured out the internet. Speaking of figuring out the internet, at work today, and we're gonna get Dudes and Guys is coming up. That was a teaser.
Dudes and Guys.
So I'm at work today, and there is like a retail shop that's connected to our store, and they have this cash register. Well, the key doesn't work, like the one we had it back in the JC days, right? Key doesn't work to open it up. So Ryan, I need you to try to fix this. So I'm trying both keys. And I'm trying to like do all the things like push the drawer in and like unlock it like our store one has, and it's just not working. So
yeah, you do like the Nintendo cartridge, you blow on it.
You do like, okay, think practically. How would a normal human being open this till? So then I did what I knew I was going to have to do. I tried pulling like there's like the little cord connected to the lock, just try to jimmy it from the inside kind of. And I thought, nope, there is a way to open this. They sell these. So I go on my phone and I Google how to open a cash register without a key. Ended up opening it. I managed to unscrew the thing from the bottom, and there's a little latch or sure enough opens it, because they had never taken cash. They opened up in COVID, so they had never taken cash, so everything's like digital payments. Anyway, so I open this till, there's no cash in it, because they actually, the owner of the shop, and I asked him like, have you guys ever taken cash? He's like, I don't even know. So sure enough, open up, nothing's in there. So I walk away and I realize I just committed a crime realistically on any other thing. So I'm like, my algorithm on my phone for the next like month or so, I'm really not looking forward to what shows up in my suggestions and everything. I'm like, yeah, I've done something that I can't go back from Googling, and it's probably not going to be the greatest thing. So I go tell my boss, and he's like, yeah, you're probably going to be screwed for a bit on that one. So company phone, this, that. I'm like, all good. So anyway, so I also know how to open a car with the Jimmy stick. Have you ever done that? I learned that back in the day when I was working at
What are they called? Slim Jim, right?
Slim Jim.
Or is
yeah.
Is that the pepperoni? No, it's both.
No, awesome. It's both.
Yeah, okay.
Equally amazing. Yeah, I learned how to do that from a mechanic. He's like, oh yeah, you got to learn. I'm like, so you're teaching me how to break into a car? Yeah. I'm like, all right. Well, that's okay. Life lesson. Cool. Anyway, so
I heard
you find me on the news, like Crime Stoppers or something, this is how it all began.
There was this like this reel going around. It was about, like, you're just talking about like breaking into a car and stuff. And it was like, he's like, screw breaking into, picking locks and things like that. It was like, do you know the power we wield? Like, all you have to do is go take, any regular padlock and just like walk by and lock up anything you want, and they're screwed. And then he's like, hey, Baskin Robbins, you're closed now. And I never ever thought of it like that. I mean, he's 100% right. The amount of chaos you could cause just by having a padlock, screw unlocking things, you can lock everything, which is just as hilarious in my opinion.
I mean, I don't know what you're doing this weekend.
Well, I mean, I got a bunch of extra padlocks, so.
I mean, I probably have an hour or two to waste.
Yeah,
so.
Maybe on the way to baseball.
Yeah, so local men locking up the city. What do you mean locking up? Like, I don't even remember where I put the keys.
You could be the first person to close a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, exactly. Renovations? No,
no,
not really at all. We had a song for dudes and guys, and I'll have to find that again. It's been a while.
There it is.
I've been talking about dudes and guys.
Was it Stained?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you got it. Way to go. So, without further ado, season 4 premiere, Dudes and Guys. I love it. It's back. It feels right. And we actually can do proper dudes and guys. Even with one game, I felt there was enough duding and there was enough guying that we should each have at least a pick. And because I've talked way too much already, you can have the first guy.
Oh, first guy. I mean,
we got a lot to choose from, thankfully.
Yeah, there's more than a few things to choose from, and I'm not gonna take the low hanging fruit on this one. I'm actually gonna go one guy over, maybe two guys over, and I'm gonna take Kuzmenko as the guy, the dude.
What?
Sorry for this week. Yeah, I'm gonna take Andrei Kuzmenko. Dude. Oh, just guys? Oh, my bad.
We're starting. Okay, well, then we get to dudes. Oh, you can keep them. Just start with guys.
That's fine. Yeah, the guy for this week then is for me. It was Nils Höglander. Yeah, it was like you're playing. You're playing top 6. I mean, you got a chance. You're playing with who looks like Mr. Unbeatable Elias Pettersson right now. Kuzmenko looked really good. That line was flowing all over the place, but he looked like kind of an inconsistent part on that line. Had a couple of chances to bury, didn't. We need a little more from Höglander, especially with with injuries that are being nursed right now and guys going to creep their way back into the lineup. I don't know where Höglander fits if he's not in the top 6, and if he's not scoring in the top 6, where is he supposed to go? So I know it's early. I know it's only one game, and he could just be shaking the rust off because he looked pretty decent in preseason. But if he's not careful, I don't think he's going to spend the whole rest of his time up on that top 6, and it wasn't really a great start in my opinion.
Man, they've got quite this spaced out schedule to start the season, hey? Like they don't play Saturday and then Monday.
Yeah, it's weird. Which is, we'll get a bunch of big breaks early in the season, and then it's going to be rush hour late in the season, right? Just like last year.
It doesn't cease to amaze me. So actually, at the beginning of the game, had it gone the way it was supposed to go, I was going to pick Thatcher Demko as my guy. I had already pre-planned who I was going to pick based on how the game was going. After the first period, I'm like, yeah, Demko just, he just didn't get a lot of shots, and I felt he should have been involved more. And then the game turned on a button and things changed, and I'm actually going to go Tanner Pearson. I think 2 hooking penalties last night that he had. He was involved, but I felt that, he obviously allowed 2 goals to... They scored a few times on the power play, did they not?
Yeah, and it's not great because if he's taking hooking penalties, it means he can't kill penalties. He plays on our first unit, so...
And that's the other thing. So he was causing a problem, and because he was not on the ice, he couldn't help fix the problem. Again, this is one game. We can do whatever the heck we want on the show. So I didn't love his game, and maybe he was a little bit irritated. I can't imagine trying to defend a team like that is easy. And if you're getting beat speed-wise, there's a few guys that, again, it's one game. Things will step up. They're going to have time to figure out and, retool and what have you. But, yeah, I didn't love Tanner Pearson's game, and that's okay because I know what he does bring to this team. And usually when I give the old guy bump on this show, they seem to rebound quite nicely. And Philly would be a great game to see Tanner Pearson bounce back. I believe that's the kind of... They play the kind of style I think he could have a pretty decent game. So, that would be my guy. So that's how I feel. This is how I feel in this moment. You're muted. You have great words to say, and I miss it.
Philly's going to be a funny game, right? It's either going to be
1:00 too.
They're going to just run rush shot over them, or it's going to be classic like play down to your competition Canucks, like we do so often with this team throughout the years of being a Canucks fan.
I was going to say, it doesn't even matter the regime. It doesn't matter the roster. Like, we're going to earmark that game for chaos.
Yeah.
One way or another. Yeah.
So that's why I always enjoy watching those Philly games, right? Because you just don't know, right? It could be a 5-4 lead, changes hands 4 times type lead, right? Who knows? But it'll be fun to watch. It'll be good to see him get back on the ice.
Now you can say your dude.
Now it's not a surprise anymore. So dude for this week is
say it backwards. Say his last name first.
Kuzmenko Andre.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, he of the number 96, made famous by the Pavel Bure. Yeah, I think we said it early. Like, this guy was everywhere, not everywhere, but he looked dangerous every time he had the puck on his stick. He went right to the net, cut through the swath to get there, gets the tap in from that nice, that was a JT Miller feed. Just super nice. Like, he just looks so good with the puck on his stick. So I can't wait to see the creative ways until they plan on using him this year. It's nice to see him on the power play. It seems like he's already solidified that spot. Doesn't seem to take shit from anybody. Seems like he's also going to be a good influence on a guy like Podkolzin because he's just such a veteran pro already. So I really like where this game took off from the start. It's a long season. I can't wait to see where the rest of it goes. And I'm sure there's going to be some growing pains down the way. But hey, man, big signing from Russia, quality pro, decides to come to the next, scores in his first game. Can't really ask for much more.
The nice thing about having him is too, it's not like he's a 19-year-old like rookie phenom, or even like coming out of college or something. Like, he's a guy, he's a man, and he's on this team, right? Like we're getting a polished guy that's coming over from another pro league, and we're inserting him in a system, and he fits. He's got a guy he can relate to. He can, talk to the mother tongue in Russian. He's also speaks a decent English as well, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. His interview was really funny.
But he does bring a little bit, and I think it's nice to have another guy in there that fits, and the fact that he fits so nicely after one game. Now that's something we can kind of hang on, that after one game, I think we should be happy that he's a Vancouver Canuck, because man, imagine him just for a hot minute. Imagine he was on the Oilers last night.
Ew.
It would have been bad.
I hate that.
I know. I'm sorry for saying that. So
yeah, but you're right. Showed some good chemistry through the preseason. Like, just seems to have chemistry with PD. That his interview that he had, we should find a way to get that on there. But his interview that he had about the PD goal in preseason was freaking hilarious too. So he seems like a kind of a character too, which I really like.
My dude, it was tough because there were some bright moments in that game. I mean, Quinn Hughes looked great as a whole. I mean, surprise, surprise, Quinn Hughes doing great things. Just the way he moves the puck and all those. But that's not my dude.
Shooting more already too.
Yeah, my dude. I gotta go at the guy that just inked a little dealsy. Made my daughter happy as well. That was a sniperoo on Campbell last night. JT, Timothy Miller. If he's going to be a Vancouver Canuck, that's what you do get to enjoy. That was the bonus of him actually signing as opposed to being traded. You do know what you're getting, and I liked his game last night. And you talked about Kuzmenko and the fit there. I like the fit that JT Miller has on this team, and I think he has a lot to offer still. And I do hope, as long as this contract goes, that we get the most value out of it. There will be a day we're going to regret it, but for now, I'm a big fan of JT Miller. And you know what? It's, again, we talk about Philly coming up on Saturday. I mean, that might be a game JT Miller has a thing to say, or two. So there's a few guys that could have a big game coming up on Saturday, but short and sweet, JT Miller, the obvious reasons. His shot looks like he's been shooting all summer. So, it's good to have that guy on our team as opposed to somewhere else. And if we got to keep him, he is a pretty decent guy to have. So
that goal was nice, right?
Was
coming down that wing, having options and just saying no.
About it. Just
there's the guy was just, the goaltender was zeroed in on him, and he decided to go top corner and just overpowered the goalie. It's like, it's not much you can ask for more from a guy like that, and to see that he's already got that confidence to be going, not even short side corner, he's going far side, right? That's a dangerous shot if you miss. If he misses that shot wide, it's off the glass in the corner, and it probably goes outside the zone, right? I mean, I think Garland had a couple of those yesterday. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, beauty shot by a heck of a player who is not going to wilt under the pressure when it comes to the physicality of the game.
It's, as I said, he is on the Canucks, so you better like it. And thankfully, that's who we got. I did have one more thing, but we're going to leave that for next week. It's I teased about a wrestling little segment, but I think it deserves a little bit more.
You don't want to rush it.
Yeah, it's there. I feel it's going to be involved, and it's been a really long day. It's already 10 o'clock, and you and I have had different long days, and I think we both deserve a little rest. I thank you for coming by, Ted. I know it's been a stretch today, so I appreciate you being here, man.
You as well, yeah.
Quick thing, obviously, make sure you check us out. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Go check out That Helps No One Fantasy Cast, our fantasy football show. That thing's blowing up. I don't know what you got going on. If you got any socials you're caring to follow, T3. This guy's hilarious. His dad jokes, legendary. And I hope to hear so many of them this weekend. We got ball playoffs this weekend. Are you playing like 100%?
I mean, I don't know how much we're going to play, but I'm going to play.
You will be a fully available athlete to us.
I'll be there. I'll be playing, but I won't be like
you can
fully. Well, I'm gonna do more than DH, but I won't be
First base,
100%.
DH.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
And I'm excited. I haven't played baseball in a month. Like it just sits there and just festers in you. Like I can't wait. I'm gonna explode. I'm gonna be like a 19-year-old kid that saw a girl for the first time. So I'm gonna absolutely explode of baseballdom. So on behalf of my good friend Ted and myself, I am Ryan. This is the PP1 podcast on the Dean Blundell Network. Peace out.